Across the shifting sands of time, humanity has unearthed countless relics of its past, artifacts carved, forged, or buried by civilizations long vanished. Most tell a story we can trace, but some defy every explanation we know it. From ancient structures aligned perfectly with the stars built centuries before telescopes, to skeletons that don't fit any known lineage of humankind, there are discoveries that seem to whisper from the edge of reason. Who built these wonders? Why do some appear thousands of years older than they should be? And what knowledge did our ancestors possess that we have somehow forgotten? Each clue uncovered only deepens the mystery, leaving scientists, historians, and skeptics locked in a quiet battle with the impossible. These are the puzzles that challenge the very story of human history itself. So sit back, open your mind, and prepare to question everything you thought you knew about our past. Because tonight, we're exploring the most bizarre and mysterious archaeological discoveries that remain unexplained. Hidden beneath the sunlit plains of Sardinia lies a place where the living once spoke softly to the dead. A place older than the pyramids of Egypt, carved directly into the island's ochre stone. This is the necropolis of Angaluru. At first glance, it appears as a quiet field of shallow depressions and small entrances. Nothing remarkable to the untrained eye, but step closer and the illusion dissolves. Dozens of openings lead into the earth, revealing an underground world of chambers, tunnels, and carved sanctuaries.
These are the Domus de Giannis, literally houses of the fairies.
Archaeologists believe these rock-cut tombs were created around 3000 BCE during the late Neolithic period. The necropolis spreads across the rolling countryside near Alcaro. Its soft limestone carved into intricate networks of horary spaces. Some are small, scarcely large enough to crawl inside. Others open into rooms adorned with red ochre spirals, bullhorns, and geometric symbols, marks that have persisted for 5,000 years. The craftsmanship is deliberate. The architecture mirrors the homes of the living, suggesting that death was not an end, but a continuation, a passage into another dwelling. In these ancient Sardinian chambers, the deceased were placed alongside objects of daily life, tools, ornaments, and bowls, as though they might need them beyond this world. Yet even amid the echoes of ritual and reverence, many questions remain unanswered. Who carved these tombs? And what beliefs drove such an immense coordinated effort so early in human history? The dominant interpretation is pragmatic and spiritual at once, that the Domus de Giannis were expressions of ancestor worship, shaped by a culture deeply connected to the cycles of nature and the idea of rebirth. The red ochre found on the walls and sometimes on the bones of the dead is thought to symbolize blood, life, and regeneration, a visual metaphor for the transition between worlds. But some details don't fit neatly within that explanation. Many chambers are marked with horned motifs, stylized symbols of bulls. To some scholars, these represent fertility, power, or the divine masculine. Others suggest a deeper cosmic connection, that the horns might mirror celestial patterns or reflect an early form of astronomical worship. A few tombs align with the solstices, hinting that those who built them may have watched the skies as carefully as they honored their dead. Then there are the carvings themselves, doors and false windows etched into solid stone. Some appear to lead nowhere, while others seem to open toward the Earth's core. Were these simply symbolic portals guiding the spirit toward an unseen realm? Or could they represent something else entirely, something we no longer have the language to describe? In the folklore of Sardinia, the Domus de Giannis are said to be the dwellings of supernatural beings, small luminous fairies who lived in the rocks, and sometimes emerged at dusk to sing. Local tales describe them as both kind and unpredictable, capable of blessing or cursing those who disturbed their homes. For centuries, villagers avoided these tombs after dark. Even today, some hesitate to enter them alone. Modern archaeology, of course, dismisses such stories as mythology layered over ancient memory. Yet folklore has a peculiar way of preserving fragments of truth. echoes of something once deeply believed. Could the fairies of legend be distant recollections of the people who built these tombs? Their identities transformed over millennia into myth? Or do these stories hint at experiences, visions, sensations, encounters that we no longer understand? More intriguing still are the physical traces that suggest an advanced level of organization among Sardinia's prehistoric inhabitants. The precision of the cuts, the uniformity of the designs, and the widespread distribution of similar tombs across the island indicate a shared cultural and spiritual system. And yet no written language from that time survives. We have architecture, but not the words to explain it. Artifacts found at Angelou, obsidian blades, necklaces of shell and bone, clay figurines link the site to distant trade networks stretching perhaps as far as the Iberian Peninsula and North Africa. Sardinia, isolated though it may seem, was never cut off from the world. Its people moved, traded, and exchanged ideas. But the symbolic language carved into these tombs seems unique, as if born from a belief system that has left no other trace. Some researchers point to genetic studies suggesting that the island's earliest inhabitants may have been part of a larger, now lost Mediterranean culture, a civilization older than the Minoans, predating even the Nuragic towers that later dotted Sardinia's landscape. If true, the necropolis of Angelou could be a surviving footprint of that forgotten world. Others, more speculative still, have proposed stranger origins. They see in the Doidejanas evidence of contact with unknown builders or influences that predate known human history. These theories are often dismissed by academia, but they persist in books and documentaries, in the quiet curiosity of those who visit and feel something ancient stir beneath the surface. Because standing before one of these tombs, the air heavy with the scent of earth and stone, it's easy to sense the passage of untold generations. The silence feels alive, almost sentient. The walls seem to breathe with memory. Were these chambers merely the final resting places of the dead? Or could they have served another purpose?
A temple? A portal?
A place where the living sought communion with whatever lay beyond their world. The answers remain locked within the rock. Archaeologists continue to study, to measure, to date, to classify, but much of the meaning has already slipped beyond reach, carried away by time and silence. Perhaps the Dolas Dianas were meant to be that way. Mysteries carved to endure, preserving not just the dead, but the enigma of what it means to be human. And so, as the sun sets over Angelou, casting long shadows across the entrances of these ancient houses, one can't help but wonder what other secrets still lie buried beneath Sardinia's soil, waiting for the right eyes to see them. As the echoes of Sardinia's ancient tombs fade, our journey drifts across the Atlantic to a colder, quieter landscape, a place where the forest meets the sea and the soil holds stories older than any written record. Here, along the rugged coast of Maine, in the northeastern reaches of the United States, something was found. Something small, unassuming, and impossibly out of place. A single silver coin. At first glance, it might have seemed ordinary, but under the dust of centuries, faint symbols began to emerge. Letters, lines, and patterns that no colonial mint could have produced. The coin, now known as the Maine penny, would become one of the most enigmatic artifacts ever unearthed in North America. Discovered in 1957 by an amateur archaeologist named Guy Melgren, the coin was unearthed at a Native American site in the small coastal town of Blue Hill, Maine. The dig had revealed pottery shards, stone tools, and remnants of an ancient settlement. Nothing unusual for the region, but when Melgren brushed the dirt from that thin silver disc, he realized he was holding something no one could easily explain. After years of study and debate, experts identified it as a Norwegian silver coin minted during the reign of King Olaf III, also known as Olaf Kira, around the 11th century CE, that places its origin in medieval Scandinavia centuries before Columbus's arrival in the New World, and yet it had been buried deep in the soil of Maine. How could an 11th century Viking coin have ended up thousands of miles from Norway on a site once inhabited by Native Americans who, by all accounts, had no contact with Europe at that time? The question has haunted archaeologists for decades. To understand the weight of the mystery, one must remember that evidence of Norse exploration in North America does exist. Around the year 1000, Leif Erikson and his crew are believed to have reached the shores of Vinland, a land described in Icelandic sagas that many historians identify as part of modern-day Newfoundland, Canada. At Lanso Meadows, the remains of Norse buildings have been confirmed, proof that Vikings crossed the Atlantic centuries before Columbus ever set sail. But Lawn Meadows lies nearly 1,000 mikia north of Blue Hill, Maine. No other verified Norse sites have been found so far south. So if the coin was genuinely from that era, authentic, unaltered, and buried where it was found, then it might suggest something extraordinary. That contact between the old world and the new was wider and more complex than history records. Still, archaeology demands caution. Some scholars propose a simpler explanation. Perhaps the coin did not travel directly from Viking hands to the shores of Maine, but through trade networks among indigenous peoples. Objects could have moved great distances through barter, passed from one group to another over generations until they arrived in places far removed from their origin. Others argue the coin might have been misplaced much later, possibly dropped by a European collector or trader in the colonial era when Norse artifacts were already being studied and circulated among antiquarians. But neither theory fits perfectly. The site where the coin was found dates to between 1180 and 1235 CE, long before European colonization of the region, and the coin itself shows signs of genuine age, worn, corroded, and far from pristine. So if it truly belonged to that period, who brought it here? Could it have been left behind by one of the elusive Viking expeditions described in the sagas? Some historians note that Norse explorers referred to territories south of Vinland as Hopp, fertile lands where they found wild grapes and gentle weather. Maine's coastline, with its rich forests and abundant resources, fits some of those descriptions. Yet no ship remains, no tools, no settlements have ever been discovered in Maine to confirm their presence. Only this coin gleaming faintly through the centuries, as if daring us to connect the missing links. And then there is the question of authenticity. When the Maine penny was first displayed in the 1970s, skeptics suggested it might be a hoax, perhaps a dropped souvenir, or even a planted artifact. But metallurgical testing by the University of Oslo confirmed its origin and date. An authentic coin from the Viking Age, unmistakably Norwegian. The circumstances of its discovery, documented, witnessed, and catalogued, also lend credibility. Guy Melgren was not known for fabrication, and the site yielded no other European artifacts that could suggest tampering. The coin stands alone. Still, its very uniqueness makes it difficult to interpret. One artifact on its own cannot rewrite history, but it can cast long shadows over what we think we know. And so the debate continues. Some researchers view the Maine penny as evidence of transatlantic contact. Long before Columbus, a relic of a brief, forgotten encounter between Norse explorers and indigenous peoples. Others see it as a testament to the complex trade networks of pre-Columbian North America, where objects from distant lands could move like whispers through generations. A few more speculative voices imagine something else entirely, that the coin's presence points to a deeper lost chapter of exploration. Perhaps a wave of Norse travelers who ventured farther than our maps remember, establishing fleeting outposts now lost to time and tide. Could the rugged coastlines of New England have once echoed with the sound of Norse oars cutting through the water? Or are we chasing ghosts' patterns where none exist, drawn to the romance of the unknown? What makes the Maine penny endure is not merely its mystery, but its silence. It offers no story, no inscription to guide us, only its existence, its undeniable material truth. It sits in a display case today, held within the main State Museum, where thousands of visitors peer at it each year, wondering what it truly represents. In a world where we believe history is mapped, dated, and catalogued, the coin is a reminder that some chapters remain unwritten. Perhaps it was carried across the ocean by human hands, bold explorers who never returned. Perhaps it passed quietly from one tribe to another, its origins forgotten, its value transformed. Or perhaps it simply fell where it never should have been, waiting for centuries to remind us that the past is not a straight line, but a labyrinth. As the wind whispers through the pine forests of Blue Hill and the Atlantic laps against the rocky shore, the question lingers. Who first held the coin that would one day be called the Maine penny? And how far did they travel to bring it here? From the misty coasts of Maine, where a single silver coin whispered of ancient journeys, our path now turns inland across the vast expanse of North America to a land shaped by heat, silence, and the slow patience of time. Here in the Sonorine Desert of southern Arizona, the air shimmers with heat. Cacti stand like sentinels beneath a pale blue sky, and the horizon stretches unbroken for miles. Amid this stark beauty, a great structure rises from the desert floor.
Massive, weathered, and inexplicably alone.
This is Casa Grande, the Great House. For nearly 7 centuries, it has watched the desert winds drift across what was once a thriving community. Today, it stands roofed by a protective canopy, a skeleton of ancient engineering preserved against the slow decay of sun and sand. But even now, after countless studies and decades of archaeological inquiry, the true purpose of this monumental building remains one of the most compelling mysteries in the American Southwest. Built by the Hukom people around 1350 CE, Casa Grande is a 4-story structure made entirely of quiche, a natural mixture of sand, clay, and calcium carbonate hardened by the desert's heat. The walls, several feet thick, were molded by hand and layered meticulously, each level constructed with astonishing precision. To this day, its scale is striking. The tallest pre-Columbian building north of Mexico, rising nearly 35 ft into the open sky. Surrounding the Great House are the remains of an extensive settlement, plazas, irrigation canals, earthen compounds, all part of what must have been a thriving center of culture, trade, and ceremony. Yet among the ruins, nothing else quite matches the grandeur or mystery of the central structure. Why did the Hukom build such a massive edifice in the middle of the desert? The most accepted explanation is that Casa Grande served as a ceremonial and administrative hub, a place of leadership, ritual, and observation. Its construction reflects deep knowledge of both engineering and astronomy. Archaeologists have noted that several openings in the upper walls align with the movements of the sun and moon, particularly during the summer solstice and lunar standstills. These alignments suggest that the building may have functioned as an observatory, allowing its builders to track time, seasons, and celestial events crucial for agriculture. The Hukom were masters of irrigation. Their canal systems spanning hundreds of miles transformed the desert into fertile farmland, supporting one of the most sophisticated agricultural societies in pre-Columbian North America. To maintain that delicate balance of water and crop cycles, they would have needed precise knowledge of the seasons. In that sense, Casa Grande might have been the heart of their calendar, a living instrument carved from Earth itself. But there are details that complicate this picture. The interior rooms show no clear signs of domestic life.
No hearths, no food storage, no evidence of everyday activity.
The massive outer walls offer more protection than such a peaceful environment should require. And while the astronomical alignments are evident, they do not explain the scale or complexity of the structure. Some researchers have suggested it could have served as a defensive stronghold, a refuge from potential conflict or environmental disaster. But the surrounding walls, though impressive, would not have withstood prolonged attack. Others propose a religious or ceremonial role, a sacred space accessible only to a select few, a temple where priests observed the heavens and interpreted the will of the gods. Then there are theories that drift further from the known, venturing into the realm of speculation. Could Casa Grande have been built in response to something cosmic? Perhaps a celestial event so significant it reshaped belief itself. The precise alignment, some say, might have been not merely practical but symbolic, marking connections between the earthly and the divine. More fringe interpretations imagine it as a kind of communication beacon, part of a network of sites across the southwest, sharing astronomical or even metaphysical knowledge. Others wonder if it represents a lost cultural exchange, an echo of distant influences reaching into the deserts of Arizona from civilizations far beyond. Whatever its function, one thing is clear. The effort required to construct it was immense. Estimates suggest hundreds of workers may have spent years shaping and lifting thousands of tons of quiche by hand, all without metal tools, draft animals, or written plans. Why would a people pour so much labor and devotion into a structure that to our eyes seems to have no clear purpose? Perhaps, as some anthropologists suggest, its true meaning lies not in practicality, but in identity. Monumental architecture can be a statement, a way for a culture to declare its presence to time itself. In that sense, Casa Grande may have been both temple and testament, a symbolic heart that unified the Huccom world. Yet, not long after its construction, the great house was abandoned. By the late 1400s, the once thriving canals of the Huccom had fallen silent, their settlements emptied. Scholars still debate the reasons: drought, resource depletion, conflict, or cultural transformation. Whatever the cause, Casa Grande remained, enduring centuries of isolation. When Spanish explorers arrived in the 1600s, they found only ruins. The people who built them long vanished. The Odom tribes who later inhabited the region preserved the memory of the great house in oral traditions. They spoke of it as a sacred place built by the ancient ones, imbued with meaning lost to human understanding. Some described it as a watch house, others as a house of strength. Today, archaeologists study its angles, its construction methods, its relationship to the stars. But the essence of its purpose remains just out of reach.
Like a word on the tip of the tongue of history.
Standing inside its shadow, the heat pressing against the stone, one can feel the stillness that has lingered for centuries. The walls breathe faintly with the desert wind. The air hums with a quiet question that refuses to fade. Was Casa Grande a temple to the heavens? A calendar in clay? A monument to power or perhaps to loss? Or could it have been something else entirely? Something beyond the limits of what we can yet imagine. As the sun dips low over the Sonoran horizon, the great house glows with the color of embers, its ancient walls catching the last light of the day. And once again it stands silent, patient, enduring and enigmatic, guarding the secret of its own creation.
Even now the desert keeps its answers.
And Casa Grande remains what it has always been, a question carved in earth, waiting for someone to listen. From the sun-baked deserts of Arizona, where stone walls once reached toward the sky, our journey now returns to the quiet green landscapes of northern England, a land where mist clings to the valleys and history lies embedded beneath soft, fertile soil. Here, among Neolithic burial mounds and sacred earthworks, archaeologists have uncovered objects whose purpose continues to puzzle scholars, bridging time and imagination in equal measure. These are the Neolithic chalk drums, known primarily from two remarkable finds, the Fulton drums in Yorkshire and the Burton Agnes drum discovered nearby decades later. At first glance, they are deceptively simple, cylindrical objects carved from chalk, each about the size of a modern coffee mug, with smooth circular surfaces and intricate geometric patterns etched along their sides. Their curves and spirals, sun motifs and zigzags are strikingly deliberate, evidence of careful craftsmanship, far from accidental decoration. The Folkestone drums were unearthed in 1889, buried within a child's grave, surrounded by flint tools and other ceremonial items. The Burton Agnes drum followed in 2015, almost identical in size and design, yet distinct in the artistry that adorned its surface. Despite the centuries separating their discovery, together these objects form a silent testament to the symbolic sophistication
of Britain's Neolithic peoples, those who lived between
2600 and 2500 BCE, building monuments like Stonehenge and carving, stone circles that still draw wonder today. Their purpose, however, remains elusive. Some scholars argue the drums were ritual objects intended for ceremonial use in burials or rites of passage. Yet the fact that the Folkestone drums were found alongside the body of a child has led some to suggest they were objects of protection guiding the young soul into the afterlife. The patterns carved into their surfaces may encode symbolic or cosmological knowledge, a visual language now lost, a system of meaning we can only glimpse through careful measurement and interpretation. Intriguingly, recent studies suggest an even more precise mathematical dimension to their design. Researchers have observed that the drum diameters correspond to units of measurement used in monumental construction at the time. Some proposed that they functioned as measuring devices, helping Neolithic builders plan and execute structures with astonishing accuracy. The chalk cylinders in this view are not mere decoration. They are tools, vessels of knowledge, a practical yet enigmatic link between art and engineering. Yet, if their geometry was practical, it was also deeply symbolic. The repeating patterns and spirals mirror those seen on contemporary megaliths, suggesting a connection between ritual and calculation, a harmony between the spiritual and the structural. The drums could have been ceremonial instruments that also encoded numerical systems, a fusion of belief and measurement that speaks to a worldview both sophisticated and mysterious. Other theories drift further into the speculative. Some suggest that the drums were musical instruments intended to resonate during ceremonies, though their solid chalk composition seems ill-suited to sound. Others see them as status symbols, objects denoting rank or prestige within Neolithic society. Their placement in graves, sometimes with children, hints at a society where symbolism, inheritance, and the sacred intertwined in ways we can no longer fully understand. Consider too the broader context. These drums were not isolated artifacts. They were part of a landscape team emming with Neolithic innovation. Stone circles, long barrow rows, cursus monuments, and hinges, all meticulously aligned to the movements of the sun and moon. In such a world, even the smallest objects could carry profound significance. Perhaps these drums were microcosms of the universe itself, models of celestial cycles, templates for construction, or repositories of knowledge passed from one generation to the next. And yet, for all the study, measurement, and theory, a crucial question remains. Why are these objects so rare? Only a handful have survived, all found within burial contexts. Were they sacred items too precious to lose, or was their use so specialized that only a few were ever made? Did each drum represent a single lineage, a particular ritual, or an individual life? The craftsmanship alone invites awe. The chalk was carved with care and precision, smoothed to a fine finish, and etched with patterns that continue to confound modern observers. Even in an era when communities had mastered flint and bone tools, producing such objects required patience, skill, and intention. Each curve, each line was purposeful. Each drum was, in a sense, a miniature monument, an object that, like Stonehenge, survived not because it was grand, but because it carried meaning so deeply that it endured in memory and soil. Some modern commentators suggest that the drums may encode astronomical knowledge, their proportions relating to lunar or solar cycles, or the measurement of time itself. Could these chalk cylinders have been used to teach children about the cosmos, to train them in the rhythms of nature, or to mark important seasonal events? Or were they objects whose significance was entirely symbolic, understood only by those initiated into the beliefs and practices of Neolithic society? Whatever the truth, the drums continue to speak across millennia. They remind us that even the smallest artifact can carry layers of meaning, that Neolithic communities were capable of intellectual and spiritual complexity that challenges modern assumptions. They are, in a sense, whispers from the past, quiet, precise, and yet profoundly insistent, urging us to reconsider what we think we know about the people who built the monuments and left their marks on this land. Standing in the museum facing a Fulton drum encased in glass, one is struck by its intimacy. Its smooth surface fits in the palm of a hand, yet it embodies ideas and intentions that stretch far beyond its size. It is at once familiar and alien, practical and symbolic, a tool and a talisman. And so, as the English countryside rolls gently beneath a grey, ever-changing sky, we are left with a question that lingers as persistently as the drum spirals. What knowledge, what rituals and what meanings did these small, unassuming objects carry for the Neolithic people who created them? And how many other mysteries, like the chalk drums, remain hidden in the earth, waiting for the right hands, the right eyes to uncover them? From the rolling green fields of northern England, where small chalk drums whisper of Neolithic mysteries, our journey now turns to the dense tropical highlands of central Mexico, a land where jagged mountains cradle ancient cities and history seems almost alive in the air itself. Here lies a city of monumental scale, once teeming with life, ritual, and ambition. Teotihuacan, and at its heart stands one of the most enigmatic and awe-inspiring structures of the ancient world, the Temple of the Feathered Serpent. The moment you approach the temple, even in imagination, it commands attention. Its multi-tiered pyramid rises sharply from the broad, flat expanse of the Avenue of the Dead. The sides are adorned with rows upon rows of carved stone heads, serpents unfurling alongside human faces, their mouths open in silent proclamation. The detailing is intricate: the serpent's fangs, the feathered crests, the angular geometry of the surrounding motifs. From every angle, the facade seems alive, moving subtly with the sun's shifting light. Constructed around 200 CE, the Temple of the Feathered Serpent, also known as Quetzalcoatl Pyramid, represents a triumph of both engineering and artistry. Teotihuacan itself, a city that may have housed over 100,000 inhabitants, was meticulously planned with broad avenues, carefully aligned residential compounds, and monumental temples that express both authority and spiritual devotion. Yet despite decades of excavation and study, the temple at the city's center continues to guard many of its secrets. The feathered serpent was a deity of immense importance, a symbol of creation, fertility, and the duality of life and death. But why was this particular pyramid so elaborate, so central, and so intimately connected to the surrounding urban fabric? Inside the temple, excavations have revealed tunnels and hidden chambers filled with precious objects, jaguar and serpent effigies, offerings of obsidian, shells, and even human remains. The discovery of hundreds of sacrificial victims beneath the pyramid has led scholars to conclude that it was a site of intense ritual significance. But the scale of the sacrifices and the meticulous placement of offerings suggests something beyond simple religious devotion and architectural and ceremonial choreography designed to communicate, to assert control over both people and cosmos. Archaeologists have long debated the pyramid's function. Was it a religious center dedicated to honoring Quetzalcoatl and guiding the souls of the dead? Or did it serve as a political statement, a demonstration of Teotihuacan's power over its populace and rivals? Perhaps it was both. a fusion of faith, authority, and spectacle intended to maintain social order through the awe inspired by sacred architecture. Yet the mysteries multiply when we consider the city's broader layout. Teotihuacan is aligned with astonishing precision to celestial events. The pyramid itself sits on a precise north-south axis, and some researchers have suggested that it was designed to track solar and planetary cycles to anchor time itself. Within the city's organization, could the temple of the feathered serpent have been not just a place of worship, but a cosmic observatory, a terrestrial counterpart to the heavens? Then there are the subterranean chambers, long, narrow tunnels extending beneath the pyramid, their walls lined with intricate carvings and carefully arranged objects. Some of these chambers were sealed deliberately, as if to protect secrets or knowledge meant to remain hidden. The deliberate placement of jaguar skulls, shells, and obsidian blades suggests ritual significance. Yet, no definitive explanation has been agreed upon. Why these particular objects? What knowledge did their arrangement encode? Fringe theories, while speculative, add another layer of intrigue. Some suggest the pyramid's carvings and alignments might encode astronomical or cosmological knowledge far more advanced than previously thought. Others wonder if it reflects a lost esoteric tradition, a philosophy or science whose understanding of energy, life, and the cosmos remains inaccessible to modern observers. While these ideas remain unverified, they speak to the power of the structure, its ability to provoke curiosity and awe centuries after its creation. The Temple of the Feathered Serpent also raises questions about Teotihuacan itself. Despite its monumental scale, the city's original inhabitants remain largely anonymous. Unlike the Maya, who inscribed their history in stone and codices, the people of Teotihuacan left no written records, no names, no dynasties. Their city was one of grand ambition, yet shrouded in anonymity. The pyramid in this context may have served as a silent language conveying authority, ritual, and cosmic order where words could not. Perhaps the most haunting aspect of the temple is its endurance. For nearly 2 millennia, it has watched over the plains, silently, bearing witness to human endeavor, conflict, and passage. Layers of earth and ash have accumulated, concealing the chambers and leaving archaeologists to dig, not just through soil, but through centuries of lost knowledge. Each discovery, be it an obsidian dagger, a carved effigy, or the remnants of human sacrifice, reveals only fragments of a story that is tantalizingly incomplete. Even the pyramid serpents invite speculation. Kuxtelkahuatl, the feathered serpent, embodies paradox, earth and sky, human and divine, creation and destruction. Was the pyramid designed to mirror these dualities, to make the abstract tangible in stone and ritual? Could the careful alignment, the carvings, the hidden chambers, all have served as a metaphysical map guiding those who entered along both physical and spiritual journeys? Standing today at the base of the pyramid, one can feel the resonance of human intention, the precision of hands and minds committed to something larger than themselves. The carvings seem to shimmer with meaning yet remain frustratingly elusive. We see structure, we see ritual, we see celestial alignment, but we cannot know fully the inner workings of the minds that built this place. And so the Temple of the Feathered Serpent remains a profound enigma. It is both monumental and intimate, public and secretive,
Earthly and cosmic, it speaks of power and devotion.
of human ambition reaching toward the heavens, of a civilization whose voices were never recorded yet, echo across centuries in stone. As the sun rises over the avenue of the dead, casting long shadows across the pyramid's carved serpents, one cannot help but wonder what knowledge, what beliefs, and what secrets were encoded into every layer of this great structure, and how much of it still lies hidden, waiting beneath the earth for a future observer to decipher, to understand, or simply to marvel at. From the monumental carvings of Teotihuacan, where serpents and human faces entwine in stone, Our journey now turns to a more intimate yet equally enigmatic artifact, a single fragile object that carries the weight of human expression across millennia. It is small enough to hold in the hand, yet the questions it provokes are immense. This is the thigh bone, an engraved fragment that continues to puzzle scholars and collectors alike. Unearthed in the late 20th century in the region of Montmorin, France, the thigh bone is a fragment of an animal long extinct, most likely a reindeer carved by humans during the Upper Paleolithic period. Roughly 12,000 to 15,000 years ago, the fragment measures only a few inches in length, but upon its surface, delicate, deliberate engravings appear. Lines etched with care, forming geometric patterns, repetitive motifs, and to some observers, shapes suggestive of symbolic communication. At first glance, it might seem ordinary, a piece of bone worn and weathered by time. Yet the precision of the carvings belies its age. Every groove and indentation speaks to a hand skilled in tool use, guided not just by practicality, but by intent. These are not scratches of chance. They are marks of meaning, hints of a mind thinking abstractly, capable of creating something that may have held cultural, spiritual, or even personal significance. What was the purpose of the thigh bone? The mainstream interpretation is cautious. It may have been a counting tool, a primitive calendar, or a mnemonic device used to track resources, seasons, or social obligations. Other scholars suggest it may have had a ritual function, possibly a talisman or an object carried in ceremonial contexts. The repetitive nature of the engravings align with patterns seen on other Upper Paleolithic artifacts, such as the Blombos engravings in South Africa, or the ochre plaques of Europe, hinting at a shared or parallel development of symbolic thinking across continents. Yet these explanations, while plausible, do not capture the full intrigue of the object. Unlike the grand architecture of the Hohokam or the precise carvings of Teotihuacan, the thigh bone is deeply personal, almost private. It was made to be held, observed, or used in ways we may never fully reconstruct. Its meaning has been lost, leaving us with only questions. Was it a map of some kind? A record of hunting success, or something entirely symbolic, whose significance belonged only to its maker and immediate community? One striking feature of the bone is the patterning itself. The engravings appear carefully measured, almost mathematical, suggesting an understanding of repetition, proportion, or symmetry. Could this be evidence of a proto-miracle system? Or was it an early form of abstract art, created for aesthetic pleasure or spiritual resonance? The line between function and expression blurs, reminding us that the earliest humans were capable of both practical innovation and profound creativity. The context of its discovery adds another layer of mystery. The thigh bone was found in proximity to other artifacts, stone tools, remnants of dwellings and hearths, indicating that it was not discarded randomly, but placed deliberately. Its careful placement suggests reverence or significance, as if it were intentionally curated, not merely a utilitarian object. Some researchers have drawn attention to the patterns themselves, noting similarities to other Paleolithic carvings that some interpret as star charts or cosmological symbols. Could the thigh bone encode observations of the night sky, tracking lunar cycles or migratory patterns of animals? If so, it may represent one of the earliest known attempts to record the natural world through abstract representation, a bridge between survival, observation, and the dawn of symbolic thought. Yet, the artifact also defies easy classification. Unlike cave paintings, which tell stories on grand walls, or monumental constructions which assert societal or religious authority, the thigh bone is intimate and enigmatic. Its symbolism is personal, yet we are asked to interpret it millennia later across a chasm of culture and understanding. We cannot know if we see it as its maker intended, or if our own interpretations impose meaning that was never there. Fringe interpretations abound, though they remain speculative. Some suggest the bone may encode shamanic knowledge a record of spiritual journeys or visions, or a talisman used in rites that bridged the physical and metaphysical. Others imagine it as a kind of early written language, a precursor to communication systems that would not emerge for tens of thousands of years. These ideas, while unverified, underscore the profound impact that a single object can have on our imagination, challenging assumptions about the cognitive and cultural sophistication of Upper Paleolithic humans. The taste bone also invites reflection on mortality, memory, and legacy. It is a fragment, broken, worn, yet preserved through chance and care. Its survival is accidental yet remarkable. Like a whisper across the ages, it reminds us that even the smallest, most fragile objects can carry immense significance, embodying thought, culture, and intent long after their creators have vanished. Holding a thigh bone today in a museum or under the careful gaze of a researcher, one can almost feel the hand that engraved it, the mind that conceived the patterns, the context in which it was used. It is a tangible connection to a human consciousness that existed far earlier than any written record, yet whose voice still echoes faintly through stone and bone. And so as we examine its delicate carvings, we are left with a question that is both simple and profound. What did these lines mean to the person who made
them, and how much of that meaning has been lost to time?
How many other fragments hidden beneath the soil of Europe or elsewhere carry stories and knowledge that await discovery? The thigh's bone remains silent yet eloquent. It reminds us that even in the smallest objects, the mysteries of human ingenuity, creativity, and understanding are waiting, patient, enduring, and as enigmatic as the dawn of thought itself. From the quiet, intimate mystery of the thigh's bone, where a single fragment of engraved reindeer tells stories lost to time, our journey now moves across the continent to the sun-baked deserts of Southern California. Here in the arid expanse of the Colorado Desert near Blee, the landscape itself becomes canvas, and the earth whispers of human presence in a scale so vast that it can only be fully appreciated from the sky. These are the Blenaglios, enormous geoglyphs etched into the desert floor, depicting humanoid figures, animals, and abstract shapes. Unlike petroglyphs carved into rock, these inaglios are created by scraping away the darker desert surface stones to reveal the lighter sand beneath, producing designs that stretch for tens, sometimes hundreds of meters. Viewed from above, the figures emerge in stark contrast to the desert's muted palette, silent yet unmistakable, a testament to human intention across millennia. The Blenaglios were first documented by archaeologists in the 1930s, though they were known locally to the Mojave and Quan tribes for generations. Radiocarbon dating and stylistic analysis suggests that they were created between 450 and 2500 years ago, placing them within a rich, prehistoric cultural landscape that included hunting, seasonal migrations, and ceremonial life in the harsh desert environment. Among the most striking figures are the humanoid forms, some measuring over 50 metres long with elongated limbs, radiating lines, and intricate designs. Some depict what appear to be headdresses, others carry abstract shapes whose meaning eludes modern understanding. There are also depictions of animals, quadrupeds, birds, and serpentine forms that suggest the artists were inspired by both the natural world and symbolic or spiritual concepts.
Why were these immense figures created?
Mainstream interpretations suggest ceremonial or ritual significance. The Mojave and Quechan oral histories describe their ancestors using the geoglyphs in ritual dances, healing ceremonies, or as offerings to spirits. Some researchers proposed that the inaglios marked sacred pathways guiding participants during processions across the desert. Others view them as territorial markers or symbols of group identity, asserting presence and stewardship over the land. Yet many questions remain. The sheer scale of the inaglios implies that they were intended to be seen from above, an impossible perspective for those walking among them. Did the creators envision spirits, deities, or ancestors viewing their work from the sky? Or is it possible that the designs were meant to interact with the natural landscape itself, rivers, mountains, and the shifting desert sun, rather than a literal aerial gaze? Another layer of mystery lies in their construction. The figures were carefully scraped from the desert surface, a labor-intensive process requiring planning, measurement, and precise execution. How did the creators maintain proportion over such immense distances? Were rudimentary tools or surveying techniques used? Or did their knowledge emerge from a combination of observation, trial, and intuition honed over generations? Some researchers suggest a celestial or astronomical dimension. The two inuglios are often oriented in ways that may correspond with the
rising and setting of the sun during solstices, or with the
positions of certain constellations. Could the Bleeth and Taglio have served as calendars, guiding agricultural cycles, hunting seasons, or ceremonial events? Or are these alignments coincidental, interpreted through the lens of modern curiosity? Fringe interpretations, while speculative, add to the allure. Some propose that the scale and precision of the inuglios hint at influences or knowledge from unknown visitors, outsiders whose perspective allowed them to imagine the figures from above. Others suggest that the humanoid shapes reflect visionary or shamanic experiences, perhaps even interactions with the spirit world recorded in the earth itself. Though these ideas remain conjectural, they underscore the profound impact that the inuglios exert on those who study them. The Blegios are not static relics. They are alive in the landscape. Wind and rain slowly erode the designs, yet the desert preserves them in remarkable detail. Over centuries, the lines have been maintained and redefined, sometimes by local inhabitants who understood their importance, sometimes by the desert itself. Each figure carries the weight of human intention, endurance, and reverence. An act of creation that survives despite the relentless passage of time, and yet much about the inuglios is unknowable. The people who made them left no written record, and the full context of their creation has faded into the desert sands. We can measure them, document them, even model them with aerial photography and satellite imagery. But the thoughts, beliefs, and intentions behind their creation remain elusive. There is also the question of scale and perspective. How would someone hundreds of years ago conceive of such figures, knowing that only an elevated vantage point would reveal their full form? Did the creators see them in a visionary sense, through spiritual insight, or perhaps as a way to communicate with forces beyond their immediate perception? As one stands on the ground today, surrounded by the flat, sun-baked expanse, the figures appear abstract, enigmatic, incomplete. Yet when glimpsed from above, the lines coalesce into patterns of striking clarity, offering a glimpse of human ambition, creativity, and ritual practice that transcends the ordinary. The Blel and Taglios are reminders that human expression is not bound to walls, to small objects, or to the span of a single lifetime. They can stretch across the earth itself, enduring in silence for thousands of years. And so, as the desert wind stirs the sands along the edges of the geoglyphs, we are left with the profound question: what drove the creators to leave these enormous images on the desert floor? To communicate across space, time, and generations? And how many other secrets etched into the earth or hidden in plain sight remain waiting for those who are willing to see them fully, patiently, and with curiosity unbound? The Ble Inuglios endure as a testament to human ingenuity and mystery, silent yet eloquent, inviting us to ponder what else the earth itself might hold just beyond our understanding. From the vast expanses of the California desert, where geoglyphs stretch across the earth and whisper of human intention, our journey now turns to the quieter, more intimate artifacts of Europe's distant past, objects small enough to hold yet enigmatic enough to defy easy understanding. These are the Bronze Age lock rings, mysterious rings of metal that suggest purpose and sophistication far beyond their modest size. Rings are hollow circular bands often made from bronze or gold, discovered primarily in Bronze Age contexts across Europe, particularly in Scandinavia, the British Isles, and Central Europe. At first glance, they appear simple, small rings, unassuming yet perfectly formed, with ends that taper or hook in ways that imply function beyond mere ornamentation. Archaeologists have debated their use for decades. Were they jewelry, status, symbols, tools, or perhaps something entirely different? An object whose purpose has been lost to time? The craftsmanship is precise. Each ring is cast or hammered with care, and some feature intricate ridges or decorative motifs along their surface. Even in the Bronze Age, when metalwork was a labor-intensive skill, these rings demonstrate deliberate design, a careful balance between form and function. They are small, yes, but within their curves, they contain evidence of human ingenuity and problem-solving. Most of the rings have been found in burials or hoards, suggesting symbolic importance. In some graves, they were placed alongside weapons, tools, or other ornaments, implying that they carried social or ritual significance. Could they have been objects of protection, amulets, or tokens of power? Their presence in high-status burials suggests a role that transcended mere practicality. Yet, their small size and hollow construction also point to function, something tangible and interactive. Scholars have proposed several mainstream explanations. Some believe the lock rings were used as hair rings to fasten locks of hair or attach decorative elements. Others suggest they were components of clothing or armor functioning as fasteners for garments or belts. Still others argue that they may have been tokens of allegiance, personal identifiers, or markers of rank within a complex Bronze Age society. Yet despite these plausible interpretations, the lock rings continue to perplex. Many are too small or delicately formed for the proposed uses, while others show wear patterns inconsistent with the functional explanations. The repeated design across widely separated regions suggests a cultural or symbolic language, an understanding of form and purpose shared across societies, yet now only partially understood. Adding to the intrigue are the variations in design. Some lock rings feature spiral motifs, geometric patterns, or incised lines that may hold symbolic meaning. Could these patterns have encoded information about lineage, religious belief, or social status? Or were they simply decorative, intended to enhance the object's aesthetic appeal? The truth remains tantalizingly out of reach. There is also the question of scale and rarity. Unlike common jewelry or tools, lock rings are relatively rare, and many are found in contexts that suggest ritual deposition, such as watery graves or carefully curated hoards. This suggests that their value may have been symbolic or spiritual rather than purely utilitarian. Why invest so much skill and effort in creating something so small and delicate if it was intended for everyday use? Some more speculative interpretations propose that lock rings were part of early locking or fastening systems, possibly components of mechanical devices or symbolic locks. Could they have been tools for securing sacred objects or objects imbued with ritual authority? Others suggest they may have served as counting devices, tokens, or markers, objects used to record transactions, alliances, or events within Bronze Age communities. Though no definitive evidence has yet confirmed these theories, they point to the ingenuity and creativity of prehistoric societies, people capable of both practical invention and symbolic expression. Lock rings also invite reflection on the human desire to create objects that endure. Many have survived thousands of years, preserved by burial or deposition, yet their meaning has been lost. In their silence, they speak not only of Bronze Age craftsmanship, but of the fragility and impermanence of understanding. These small rings, once handled daily or ceremonially, now rest behind glass, mute witnesses to a world that we can glimpse only partially. The connections across regions further deepen the mystery. Lock rings found in Scandinavia resemble those in Britain and Central Europe, suggesting communication, trade, or shared cultural practices spanning great distances. How did knowledge of these designs spread? Was it through migration, trade networks, or independent innovation? And why did certain forms persist while others vanished without trace. Even the simplest questions remain unanswered. Who first designed the lock ring? What exactly were they securing, symbolizing, or representing? And how did these objects shape the social, ritual, or spiritual life of Bronze Age communities? Each ring, delicate and hollow, holds fragments of answers, yet leaves us grasping for the whole. Today, archaeologists study them with microscopes, 3D scanning and experimental reconstruction, seeking clues in wear patterns, residues, and context. Each investigation adds detail but also raises new questions, reminding us that the past is rarely straightforward. The lock rings resist easy categorization, challenging our assumptions about what constitutes tool, ornament, or symbol. And so, as we examine these tiny artifacts polished by millennia and engraved with human intent, we are reminded of the enduring mystery of Bronze Age Europe. The lock rings speak in a quiet, deliberate voice.
A voice that conveys craftsmanship, culture, and an unspoken understanding of the symbolic world, yet leaves us questioning their precise meaning.
What ideas, rituals, or knowledge did these small circular objects encode? And how many other subtle artifacts, now lost or waiting to be discovered,
Hold secrets just as profound, just as elusive,
and just as capable of connecting us to the minds of people long gone? The Bronze Age lock rings endure, modest yet profound, inviting us to ponder what might still be hidden in the earth and in the human imagination. From the delicate, enigmatic lock rings of Bronze Age Europe, where small objects carry stories of power, ritual, and ingenuity, our journey now sweeps across continents and oceans to the misted highlands of Southeast Asia, a landscape both lush and rugged, where time has left traces that are immense, silent, and deeply puzzling. Here lies the Plain of Jars, a vast archaeological mystery in the heart of Laos, where hundreds of monumental stone vessels scatter across rolling hills like ancient sentinels. The first glimpse of the site is striking. Fields of grass rise and fall beneath a soft tropical haze, and across them sit enormous stone jars, some over 3 metres tall, carved from solid sandstone, granite or limestone, weathered by centuries of sun, wind, and monsoon rains. Their surfaces are smooth yet pitted with erosion. Some lie upright while others have toppled over or fractured, their interiors hollowed with such precision that one almost expects to see them hold water, grain, or treasure. The jars are scattered across multiple plateaus, forming clusters and alignments whose patterns are difficult to decipher from the ground. Archaeologists estimate that more than 90 sites contain these jars, and in total, thousands of individual vessels have been documented. The sheer scale of the undertaking suggests not just practical effort, but a societal commitment of immense proportion, raising immediate questions about the purpose and meaning behind these colossal objects. Dating these jars has proven challenging. Most researchers place them in the Iron Age between 500 BCE and 500 CE, though some artifacts found nearby suggest that human activity in the area may have begun much earlier. What is certain is that the jars were crafted by skilled hands, using tools capable of shaping and hollowing stone of remarkable hardness. The effort involved quarrying, transporting, and sculpting massive blocks is astonishing, particularly considering the absence of draft animals or modern machinery. The prevailing explanation offered by archaeologists is that the jars are connected to tuareg practices. Excavations near several sites have uncovered human remains, cremated bones, and burial goods, evidence that the jars may have been used as receptacles for the dead, either directly or in some part of a multi-stage mortuary ritual. Radiocarbon dating of bones and charcoal fragments suggests that the jars were associated with ceremonial interment, possibly serving as collection points before cremation or as tombs themselves. Yet even with this context, so much remains inexplicable. The diversity of the jars, some decorated, others plain, some cylindrical, others conical or ovoid, suggests a variety of purposes or meanings. Why were they spread across such vast expanses rather than concentrated in a single necropolis? How were the enormous stones moved across hills and valleys with such precision? And perhaps most tantalizing, why did an entire culture invest so heavily in vessels that seem in modern eyes both monumental and enigmatic? Some scholars suggest the jars may have also had ritualistic, cosmological, or symbolic significance beyond their honorary role. Could their placement correspond to celestial or seasonal alignments, or to sacred geography known only to their creators? Certain jars feature subtle motifs or carvings, lines, bands, or patterns that may encode spiritual or societal meaning. Though no consensus has been reached regarding their symbolism, more speculative interpretations have arisen, particularly regarding the sheer scale and precision of the jars. Could they have functioned as containers for ritual substances, storage for offerings, or even communal gathering points for ceremonies whose exact nature is now lost? Some fringe theories propose astronomical or even metaphysical purposes, though these remain unverified. What is clear, however, is that the jars' enormity, their strategic dispersion, and the labor required to construct them point to a society deeply invested in ritual, memory, and perhaps the unseen forces of life and death. Adding to the intrigue is the discovery of human remains both within and around the jars, sometimes cremated, sometimes not. The patterns of deposition vary, with some jars containing evidence of multiple individuals suggesting collective ritual activity. Could the jars have served as thresholds between the living and the dead, as liminal spaces where ancestral spirits were honored or invoked? Or were they markers of social hierarchy, signifying the burial of certain individuals over others and reflecting societal organization? We can only speculate about the plain of jars is also a landscape scarred by more recent history. During the mid-10th century, the region was heavily bombed during conflicts in Southeast Asia, leaving many jars damaged or buried under unexploded ordnance. Despite this, the site endures, resilient and imposing, a testament to the ingenuity and vision of the Iron Age people who created it. Modern archaeologists work with extreme caution, not only to preserve the jars themselves, but to navigate the hidden dangers of the terrain, a reminder that these silent monuments continue to challenge us in both practical and intellectual ways. Standing among them today, one cannot help but feel a sense of awe and humility. The jars rise like ancient guardians over grassy hills, their interiors hollow yet resonant with human presence. They evoke questions not just about their practical use, but about the world view of their creators. How did they understand life, death, and the cosmos? What rituals, beliefs, or knowledge guided their hands as they shaped these enormous vessels? As the wind whispers across the plateaus, shifting clouds casting ever-changing shadows over the jars, the mystery remains intact. The plain of jars is a landscape of monumental effort and quiet enigma, simultaneously tangible and impenetrable. We are left to wonder, why did a civilization invest so much time, skill, and energy into creating thousands of these massive stone jars? And what secrets of belief, ritual, and human experience might still lie hidden among them? Even now, centuries later, the jars endure not merely as artifacts, but as silent witnesses to human ingenuity, devotion, and mystery, waiting for the next generation of observers to decipher their meaning or simply to marvel at their presence. From the verdant hills of Laos, where the plain of jars stretches in silent testimony to ancient ritual and monumental ambition, our journey now shifts northward across seas, forests, and centuries to the misty landscapes of Scotland. Here, among rolling fields, rocky outcrops, and windswept moors lie objects small in scale yet vast in mystery, the Neolithic stone balls of Scotland. At first glance, they appear deceptively simple, smooth, spherical stones, often no larger than a fist or as much as a man's head. Their surfaces range from perfectly polished to subtly textured, some engraved with faint lines or patterns whose meaning is lost to time. Yet despite their modest size, these objects exude a quiet presence, as if holding centuries of purpose, intent, and cultural significance within their unyielding stone-bound form. Over 400 of these stone balls have been found across Aberdeen and surrounding regions, many dating from the late Neolithic around 3000 to 2000 BCE. They are remarkably consistent in shape and proportion, often carved from hard local stones such as granite, gneiss, or sandstone. The craftsmanship is astonishing. These were not mere naturally rounded stones gathered from rivers or beaches, but deliberately shaped, sometimes polished, and despite the limitations of Neolithic tools, achieving near-perfect spherical forms. The question arises immediately: why go to such extraordinary lengths to create something so simple, so enduring, yet functionally ambiguous? Archaeologists have long debated their purpose, offering interpretations grounded in context and evidence. Some suggest they were symbolic or ceremonial objects, possibly used in rituals related to power, status, or cosmology. Others propose they may have been weapons or projectiles, though their weight and precise balance seem impractical for warfare. Many of the balls have been found in burial sites arranged with care alongside human remains, stone axes, or pottery. This placement hints at a role intertwined with the spiritual or social life of Neolithic communities. Could these spheres have represented the cosmos itself? Miniature worlds held in human hands? Or were they markers of territorial or clan identity? Symbols of authority passed from one generation to the next? Some patterns suggest mathematical or geometric knowledge. A subset of the balls features subtle carvings, concentric rings or indentations, while others exhibit uniformity in size and proportion that implies precise measurement techniques. Did the makers use these balls as tools for surveying, planning, or aligning structures? Could they have been models, teaching aids, or instruments and rituals that combine practical and symbolic functions? Yet the enigma deepens when we consider the distribution. These objects are remarkably concentrated in northeast Scotland, particularly around Aberdeen, yet few appear elsewhere. Why this region, and why at this time? The concentration suggests a cultural or regional significance, a shared practice or belief system whose meaning is now obscure. Some researchers argue that the spheres may have denoted rank or social hierarchy, while others point to their use in ceremonial games or contests, though evidence for such activities remains speculative. Fringe interpretations, while unverified, add an additional layer of fascination. Some propose that the stone balls encode astronomical knowledge, perhaps corresponding to solstices, lunar cycles, or star patterns. Others imagine the balls as energetic or metaphysical objects, instruments through which Neolithic communities interacted with unseen forces or ancestral spirits. While these ideas are speculative, they underscore the extraordinary effect these objects have had on imagination and inquiry. Small stones capable of holding immense conceptual weight. Equally mysterious is their durability. Thousands of years later, these spheres remain nearly intact, surviving the elements, human disturbance, and the slow erosion of time. Their simplicity is deceptive. Within their smooth exteriors lies the imprint of human intention, skill, and patience, as well as the enigmatic echo of cultural practices we can only partially reconstruct. Handling a Neolithic stone ball, one senses a connection across millennia. The cold, heavy stone fits in the palm. Yet its meaning, why it was shaped, carried, or buried, remains elusive. In its symmetry, one glimpses an understanding of geometry, proportion, and aesthetics. In its presence, one feels the weight of history, human ingenuity, and mystery combined. The balls also invite reflection on the Neolithic worldview. Were these spheres conceived as microcosms of the universe, representations of celestial perfection? Were they meant to connect the living with the dead, or the earthly with the spiritual? Or were they objects whose meaning was so commonplace at the time that it was never recorded? leaving us to speculate across millennia. Even today, researchers continue to measure, catalogue and model the balls, searching for patterns that might reveal insight into the Neolithic mind. Yet, every discovery seems to raise as many questions as it answers. Were some intended for ceremonial use while others were functional? Were they symbols of power, cosmological instruments, or objects of pure aesthetic expression? The truth remains tantalizingly beyond reach. And so, as the Scottish winds sweep across the hills and the heather sways silently, the stone balls remain, unassuming yet profound. They are objects of mystery, bridging the human past and present, inviting contemplation, interpretation, and wonder. What knowledge, what beliefs, what intentions were encoded in these smooth, perfect spheres? And how many other silent artifacts waiting patiently in the landscape might yet reveal the ingenuity, spirituality, and curiosity of the Neolithic people who created them? The stone balls endure, simple yet enigmatic, urging us to consider not only what they were used for, but how profoundly human curiosity and creativity have always shaped the world around us. From the windswept hills of Scotland, where Neolithic stone balls sit in quiet, enigmatic perfection, our journey now crosses oceans to the arid, sun-bleached coasts of Peru, where the Pacific Ocean meets the desert in a sharp, desolate line. Here, carved into the sandy slopes of the Paracas Peninsula, lies a geoglyph that has both fascinated and perplexed observers for over a century. The candelabra of the Andes. The first impression is immediate and striking. From the vantage point of a nearby cliff, a vast figure stretches across the hillside. Etched deeply into the earth, the geoglyph, over 180 mit tall, resembles a trident or candlestick with a long central stem, flanked by branching arms that taper toward the base. Its lines are carved with precision into the sandy soil, revealing lighter sublayers beneath the darker surface, allowing the figure to stand out against the muted desert tones. Wind and sun have weathered the design over centuries, yet it remains startlingly visible, a silent monument to human creativity and intent. Scholars date the candelabra to the pre-Inca Paracas culture, around 200 BC to 200 CE. Though its precise age and purpose remain subjects of debate, the scale of the figure is immediately apparent. It was designed to be seen not from the ground but from afar, perhaps even from the sea. This invites the first of many questions. For whom was this image intended? Mariners navigating the treacherous coastline, tribes in the desert below, or, as some suggest, beings or forces understood only in the cosmology of the Paracas people? Mainstream theories suggest that the geoglyph may have served as a navigational marker, guiding travelers along the coastline. Its prominence and clarity could have helped early sailors orient themselves in an otherwise featureless desert. Others propose that it held ritual or religious significance, perhaps a symbolic connection between the land, the ocean, and the spiritual world of the Paracas. The branching lines may represent priestly authority, sacred flames, or stylized plants. Though no consensus has been reached, the mystery deepens when one considers its construction. Carving such a figure required careful planning, surveying, and labor, tools of stone and bone, careful alignment, and repeated measurement over steep, uneven terrain. Unlike smaller rock art or domestic carvings, the candelabra is monumental, deliberately integrated with the natural contours of the hillside, suggesting knowledge of proportion and perspective far beyond the immediate needs of survival. Yet, despite extensive study, the geoglyph continues to confound. Unlike the nearby Nazca lines, which often depict animals or complex geometric shapes, the candelabra's meaning is far more ambiguous. Its simplicity is deceptive. The design is abstract, symbolic, and open to interpretation, lacking the explicit representational clarity of other geoglyphs. Why choose this particular form?
And why on such a slope visible primarily from the sea?
Fringe theories, while speculative, underscore the enduring allure of the figure. Some have suggested connections to astronomical observations, proposing that the lines align with solstices or celestial events. Others imagine that the candelabra served as a ritual conduit, a terrestrial map connecting the earthly world with the heavens or the underworld. A more sensational interpretation posits extraterrestrial influence, suggesting that such precision in scale and design could only have been conceived with aerial perspective in mind. While these ideas remain unverified, they illustrate how the geoglyph continues to ignite the imagination, drawing observers into questions of capability, purpose, and intent. Adding to the intrigue is the geoglyph's relationship with the surrounding landscape. The Paracas Peninsula is harsh and largely devoid of vegetation. Yet, the candelabra dominates the horizon. Its placement on a sloping ridge suggests careful consideration of visibility and impact, perhaps to impress, intimidate, or communicate. Could it have functioned as a territorial marker announcing the
presence of the Paracas people to distant travelers?
Or was it a spiritual symbol intended to align with sacred landmarks, water sources, or desert pathways? Archaeologists have also noted that the figure is remarkably well preserved considering its age. The region's aridity has prevented erosion from water, while the natural slope shields it from some wind. Yet centuries of exposure have still left subtle marks inviting reflection on the passage of time. Like the stone balls of Scotland or the BLE intaglio, the candelabra is both enduring and vulnerable, a tangible connection to a culture that left no written records yet, whose intent resonates silently through the landscape. Standing today on the cliffs above the geoglyph, one is struck not only by its scale but by its silence. There are no accompanying texts, no obvious practical function, only the careful curves and lines carved by human hands. It is at once monumental and intimate, a statement etched in stone and sand, calling out across time to those willing to observe and wonder. And so, as the Pacific wind sweeps over the Paracas Peninsula and the sunlight casts long shadows along the slope, we are left with questions that remain unanswered. Who envisioned this figure and for what purpose? Was it a guide for travelers, a symbol of spiritual authority, or something whose meaning has been lost entirely? And how many other messages encoded in land and stone across the ages await discovery? Silent witnesses to the imagination, skill, and mystery of human cultures long past. The candelabra of the Andes endures, monumental yet elusive, a symbol of human ingenuity, ritual, and mystery, reminding us that even in the simplest of shapes, the past can speak with a voice both profound and unknowable. From the sun-asked desert of Peru, where the candelabra of the Andes stretches across the hillside in monumental abstraction, our journey now moves across the Mediterranean to the island of Crete, where the remains of a Bronze Age civilization guard one of archaeology's most enigmatic artifacts, the Phistos disc. Unlike the vast geoglyphs or monumental jars we have encountered, this object is small handheld, yet it carries within its clay surface a riddle that has puzzled scholars for over a century. The disc was discovered in 1908 in the Minoan Palace site of Phistos, nestled in southern Crete. It is a clay disc roughly 15 centimeters in diameter, perfectly circular, and stamped with spiraling symbols pressed into its surface. Unlike inscriptions carved or painted by hand, the Phistos disc bears signs of a form of movable type stamping, with 241 individual symbols arranged in a spiral from edge to center, each symbol representing human figures, animals, plants, tools, and abstract forms is rendered with remarkable consistency and precision, hinting at an organized system of communication. The object has been dated to around 1700 BCE during the height of the Minoan civilization, a culture celebrated for its palaces, fresco, and advanced trade networks. Yet despite the sophistication of its society, the disc stands alone.
No other examples of these symbols have been found,
and no corresponding inscriptions elsewhere provide a Rosetta Stone to unlock its meaning. It is as if the artifact was created for a purpose that remains entirely opaque to us, a message intended for eyes we cannot reach. Mainstream scholarship offers several hypotheses. Some propose that the disc represents a syllabic or ideographic script, a praetor-writing system used for administrative, religious or ceremonial purposes. Others suggest it may be a ritual object, a hymn, prayer, or magical text encoded in a sequence meant to be read aloud or performed. The spiral arrangement itself has drawn attention. Unlike the linear inscriptions of contemporary civilizations, the disc's layout may reflect ritual procession, cyclical cosmology, or mnemonic function, guiding the user in repetition or recitation. Yet every hypothesis is fraught with uncertainty. Unlike Linear A and Linear B, the Minoan scripts that appear elsewhere on Cree, the symbols of the Phistos disc have resisted decipherment. Linguists and cryptographers have tried everything, comparing symbols to known languages, analyzing frequency patterns, exploring phonetic correlations. Each attempt has revealed tantalizing possibilities, yet none has yielded consensus. The disc remains stubbornly and eloquently undeciphered. The physicality of the disc adds another layer of intrigue. Each symbol is carefully impressed, not carved, implying a deliberate, replicable method of production. The creators must have possessed knowledge of both artistic precision and conceptual abstraction. Was this object a mass-reduced token, a prototype for a larger corpus now lost? Or was it unique by design, a ceremonial artifact whose meaning existed only in the moment it was created or used? The disc's singularity invites speculation about Minoan practices we can only imagine. Fringe theories have flourished in response to the disc's mystery. Some propose extraterrestrial influence, suggesting that its precise, almost mechanical stamping reflects knowledge unavailable to the period. Others interpret the symbols as cosmic or astrological codes, linking them to lunar cycles, agricultural rhythms, or sacred landscapes. Some have even suggested a mnemonic game or religious ritual tool in which the spiral sequence guided the recitation of hymns, chants, or magical incantations. While none of these ideas can be confirmed, their diversity underscores the disc's enduring fascination. It is a puzzle that invites imagination as much as analysis. The disc also prompts reflection on the nature of communication itself. It is a reminder that language is not always linear, that writing is not always meant to endure, and that much knowledge may have been encoded in forms we cannot interpret, without context long lost. The Phistos disc is more than a mystery of symbols. It is a bridge across time, connecting us to a culture whose intentions, beliefs, and methods of recording information remain partially obscured. Even today, researchers study the disc with microscopes, 3D scanning and digital modeling, seeking fingerprints of its manufacturer, clues to its original color or placement, and subtle patterns that might hint at syntax. Each insight raises new questions. Did it serve as a legal document, a religious dedication, or a pedagogical tool? Was it meant for a single elite individual, a priestly class, or a broader public within the palace? Or was it intentionally obscure, a private object whose significance was comprehensible only to those initiated into its secret language? Holding a replica of the disc, one senses its tangible weight, both physical and historical. Its spiral invites the eye inward, as if leading us on a journey into thought, culture, and ritual long vanished. Every impression of clay seems deliberate, every curve a careful decision, a trace of human cognition and intent frozen in time. The disc embodies both order and mystery, a testament to a civilization whose sophistication surpasses our ability to fully understand it. And so as we contemplate the Phistos disc, its spiral of symbols and its enduring silence, we are left with profound questions. Who designed this object? And for what precise purpose? What knowledge, ritual, or message was encoded in those 241 mysterious signs? And how many other artifacts, lost or undiscovered, might carry languages and meanings that will challenge our understanding for generations to come? The Fistos descendures as a singular, enigmatic witness to human ingenuity, creativity, and mystery. A small, circular enigma whose spiraling lines invite us to ponder the limits of knowledge, the passage of time, and the silent depths of a civilization long past. From the Minoan ingenuity captured in the spiraling Fistos disk, where symbols and intent remain locked across millennia, our journey now turns once more to the landscapes of Western Europe, to a stretch of the Breton coast in France, where time has left its mark not in clay or small stone, but in endless lines of standing stones. The Karnak alignments here, across gently undulating fields and low hills. Rows upon rows of megaliths stretch as far as the eye can see, silent sentinels of a world long vanished, challenging our understanding of prehistoric purpose. The first impression is one of awe. Thousands of stones varying in size from modest heights of a meter to towering monoliths over 4 meters tall are arranged in linear formations, some stretching for hundreds of meters. They stand upright, spaced with striking regularity, their weathered surfaces etched by centuries of wind and rain. The effect is both monumental and enigmatic. A vast geometric tapestry etched directly into the earth, visible only in its entirety from an elevated vantage, yet palpable in its presence from the ground. The Karnak alignments date to the Neolithic period, approximately 4500 to 3300 BCE, a time when human societies were transitioning from subsistence living to increasingly complex communal and ritual structures. The region is rich in archaeological evidence. Burial mounds, dolmens and K hint at ceremonial anderary activity, yet the alignments themselves, stretching over several kilometers, resist straightforward interpretation. Their scale and precision suggest deliberate planning, coordinated effort, and cultural or spiritual intent. But the exact function remains elusive. Mainstream hypotheses emphasize ritual, astronomical, or territorial significance. Some archaeologists propose that the lines were aligned with celestial events, marking solstices, equinoxes, or lunar cycles. Could the rows have functioned as an enormous calendar, a guide to agricultural cycles or sacred festivals? Others suggest that the alignments were processional avenues, paths for ritual movement during ceremonies, guiding participants across the landscape in carefully choreographed ritual performances. Yet despite these plausible theories, the diversity of their orientation, spacing, and size resists a single unifying explanation. The sheer labor required to erect and arrange thousands of stones is staggering. Each monolith had to be quarried, transported, and erected, often over considerable distances without the aid of modern machinery. How did Neolithic communities organize this effort? What motivated them to invest such extraordinary resources in arrangements whose function for us remains opaque? And why did this particular region of Brittany become a focal point for such monumental activity? Further mystery arises in the variation of stone types and sizes. Some alignments consist of uniform stones evenly spaced, while others feature irregular heights and shapes. Certain lines converge or diverge, suggesting patterns that may have held symbolic or ritual meaning. Could the variations represent social hierarchies, tribal territories, or stages in ceremonial practice? Or were they aligned with elements of the landscape, the rising sun, rivers, or sacred groves now lost to memory? Fringe theories have long surrounded the Karnak alignments, reflecting their profound aura of mystery. Some suggest astronomical sophistication beyond conventional understanding, with the stones acting as markers for planetary movements or distant cosmic events. Others propose metaphysical or energetic purposes, imagining that the lines channeled spiritual or geomantic forces, creating sacred corridors across the land. While these interpretations remain speculative, they highlight the ways in which the alignments continue to inspire awe, inviting both rigorous inquiry and imaginative wonder. The alignments are also remarkable for their endurance and preservation despite millennia of environmental change, agricultural activity, and human disturbance. Certain stones bear lichen and erosion patterns that trace the slow passage of time, yet the fundamental geometry remains legible, a testament to human ingenuity and the lasting imprint of cultural practice. Walking among the rows today, one feels the enormity of effort, the weight of tradition, and the silent authority of generations long vanished. And yet, for all their scale, the alignments retain an intimate quality. Standing between the stones, one senses a deliberate choreography, a rhythm of placement that resonates with both the earth and the sky. They are monumental, yes, but also profoundly human, embodying intention, cooperation, and imagination. They invite questions about belief, identity, and the ways in which early societies expressed connection to the land, the cosmos, and one another. We are left with enduring questions. Were the alignments primarily ceremonial, guiding ritual movement and social cohesion? Did they encode astronomical knowledge or mark sacred geography? Were some lines designed for visibility from distant hills or water routes, while others held significance only to those walking among them? The Karnak alignments endure silent yet eloquent, a testament to prehistoric ambition, vision, and mystery. They remind us that human beings have long sought to shape their surroundings with purpose, to create patterns that speak to both the practical and the spiritual. And they invite reflection on what remains hidden in the landscapes of our ancestors, waiting for patient observation, contemplation, and perhaps one day, insight. How much do we truly understand about the intentions that guided these ancient builders? And what other secrets might be embedded in the stones, the hills, and the spaces between, waiting silently for discovery, interpretation, and awe? The Khan alignments remain an enduring enigma, stretching across time and terrain, whispering the mysteries of a Neolithic world still largely beyond our grasp. From the windswept fields of Brittany, where the Karnak alignments rise in endless rows of enigmatic stones, our journey now moves eastward across continents and millennia to the heart of China, where the earth itself guards a monumental secret: the terracotta army. Unlike the solitary symbols or linear formations we have explored, here is a vast, organized host, silent, colossal, and meticulously crafted, standing guard for a ruler who sought immortality and control even beyond death. Discovered in 1974 near Xi'an, Shai Province, the terracotta army lies within the vast mausoleum complex of Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor of a unified China. Hundreds, eventually thousands of life-sized figures fill deep pits arranged in precise military formation. Foot soldiers, cavalry, charioteers, and generals stand poised, their expressions individualized, their armor detailed, their postures purposeful. Each figure, though sculpted from clay, radiates a startling likeness, suggesting not only technical skill, but also a profound understanding of human anatomy, rank, and martial culture. The scale is staggering. Estimates suggest over 8,000 soldiers along with horses and chariots populate the necropolis, though only a fraction has been excavated. The figures were originally painted in vibrant colors, though exposure to air and light has long since dulled them to earthen tones. The level of detail is remarkable. Individual facial features, hairstyles, and even fingernails were carefully rendered. The army is not generic. It is a microcosm of Qin Shi Huang's realm, frozen in eternal vigilance. Mainstream explanations are compelling. The terracotta army was intended as guardians of the emperor in the afterlife, a means to extend his authority beyond death. The scale and organization mirror the real Qin army, reflecting both military power and symbolic order. The mausoleum itself, sprawling over dozens of square kiln, is thought to have been constructed with sophisticated knowledge of landscape, hydraulics, and orrery ritual, a testament to the ambition of a ruler obsessed with immortality. yet the mysteries abound. How was it possible to produce such a vast uniform army with such meticulous detail, all within a few decades? Clay was sculpted in workshops, but each figure appears unique, suggesting coordination between master artisans and standardized production techniques. Did the emperor's craftsmen use protoactory methods combining assembly line processes with individual artistic input? And if so, how was this knowledge organized and transmitted across thousands of workers in a society without written blueprints for mass production? Other enigmas linger in the scale and ambition of the project. The terracotta army sits atop a mausoleum that has yet to be fully excavated.
Rumored to contain rivers of mercury, elaborate palaces,
and intricate traps designed to protect the emperor's final resting place. Ancient records hint at celestial motifs, precious metals, and symbolic representations of the empire itself. What is known has already revealed sophisticated engineering. What remains concealed continues to challenge modern imagination and technology. Some researchers suggest that the army served not only as a guard, but also as a symbolic extension of imperial ideology. Each soldier embodies the hierarchy and discipline of Qin society, a reflection of centralized power imposed through order, ritual, and the spectacle of scale. Others propose more speculative interpretations. Could the figures have been intended to project spiritual authority, commanding unseen forces in the afterlife? Or might they encode additional symbolic or astronomical information, their arrangement and orientation tied to cosmology, geomancy, or esoteric rituals now lost to history? The question of visibility also intrigues. From the surface, one sees the pits as expansive voids, but only in partial excavation do the rows and formations reveal themselves. Was the emperor aware that the army's full scale would be invisible above ground, meant to serve as an unseen yet omnipresent force? The deliberate positioning of generals, weapons, and chariots suggests careful planning. Yet no textual records explain the full rationale. Every discovery leads to new questions, each layer of clay offering clues without confirmation. The terracotta army is also a study in human ambition and mortality. It embodies the desire to transcend death through representation and ritual, a belief that order, hierarchy, and martial prowess could endure indefinitely. Yet it also reminds us of the impermanence of even the grandest human projects. Colors fade, clay cracks, and centuries erode surfaces once intended to last forever. The figures are both eternal and fragile, monumental and intimate, a paradox captured in the hands of artisans who understood the weight of history and the gaze of posterity. As archaeologists continue their painstaking work uncovering weapons, inscriptions, and remnants of pigments, we are drawn deeper into the mystery. What secrets lie in the unexcavated portions of the mausoleum? How did the Qin administration organize labor, craft, and logistics on such a monumental scale? And beyond practical concerns, what did these figures mean to the people who created them? Was their purpose entirely utilitarian, entirely symbolic, or some combination of both now forever obscured? And so, standing figuratively among the rows of silent soldiers, one feels both awe and humility. The terracotta army is a testament to human ingenuity, ritual, and imagination. Yet it remains an enduring puzzle. Is civilization speaking across millennia through clay form and silent vigilance? What knowledge, ambition, or belief guided the hands that shaped these soldiers? And how many other secrets buried beneath the earth or hidden within the craft of human hands await discovery, ready to reveal or perhaps resist the true intentions of civilizations long past? The terracotta army endures, monumental, precise, and mysterious, a sprawling testament to the intersection of power, art, and enigma, challenging us to ponder the depths of human ambition, the reach of mortality, and the mysteries that persist even in the most meticulously crafted forms. From the monumental clay warriors of ancient China, standing in perfect formation beneath the earth, our journey now leads to a remote and rugged region of China's Qinghai province. where the mountains rise sharply above the desert floor and hide a puzzle of a different kind, the bong pipes. Unlike the organized ranks of the terracotta army or the carefully measured alignments of Karnak, these objects are irregular, embedded within natural rock, and yet unmistakably suggestive of human intent, or at least something beyond ordinary geological explanation. The first encounter with the site is striking. On the slopes of Mount Bong near the edges of Tiani Lake, iron-red cliffs and white mineral deposits frame the entrance to a series of caves. Inside, investigators have found hundreds of pipe-like formations, some straight, some curved, many branching in network-like patterns. The pipes vary in diameter, ranging from a few km to several tens of sanams, and are often embedded in rock that otherwise appears natural. Their hollows suggest a function to transport, channel, or contain. Yet, no obvious system connects them, and their layout is irregular, following the contours of the surrounding stone. Carbon dating and geological surveys have revealed additional mysteries. Some of the surrounding material dates to tens of thousands of years ago, far predating known metalwork cultures in the region. Tests of the pipe composition indicate a high concentration of iron, silicon, and other metals, leading some researchers to label them man-made metallic formations. Yet others argue they may be natural, formed by mineral deposition or erosion, leaving open a profound and unsettling question. Could nature mimic the appearance of an engineered system with such convincing detail? The mainstream hypothesis is cautious. Geologists suggest that the pipes could be the result of natural geological processes, mineral-rich water flowing through fractures in the rock over millennia, leaving tubular formations that resemble pipes. This explanation accounts for the embedded nature of the formations and their irregular layout, but it does not easily explain the presence of metal residues, the apparent hollowness in many sections, or the clustering patterns that suggest intentional arrangement. This ambiguity has inspired more speculative theories. Some have proposed that the bygone pipes represent ancient plumbing or hydraulic systems, relics of a civilization lost to history, one capable of metallurgical and engineering feats long before known historical records. Others speculate that the network served as a ritual or energy channeling system, a conduit for ceremonial purposes now incomprehensible to modern eyes. Fringe interpretations even suggest extraterrestrial involvement, imagining that the pipes were part of a technological system of unknown origin. A question left open precisely because the material evidence is difficult to interpret within conventional frameworks. Adding to the intrigue is the proximity of Tiani Lake, a striking body of water that seems intimately connected with the pipes. Some of the larger formations appear to extend toward the lake, as if channeling fluids or energy from one site to another. Could this indicate a functional system, a ceremonial interface with water? Or is it simply the result of geological coincidence? No definitive answer exists, and every field expedition uncovers new nuances, additional pipe clusters, mineral residues, and subtle branching patterns that complicate existing theories. The site's remoteness contributes to its mystery. Byong is difficult to access, and the harsh climate of Qinghai province limits both archaeological exploration and systematic scientific study. Many formations remain unexamined, hidden in cliffs or beneath debris, suggesting that the full extent of the network may be far greater than currently documented. Each visit raises fresh questions. Why here? Why in this specific configuration? And why does the site appear so deliberately structured yet simultaneously chaotic, defying simple categorization as either natural or artificial? One of the most intriguing aspects of the bygone pipes is their appearance of purposeful engineering. Certain sections show branching and connections that mirror piping systems, used in human construction with angles and junctions that appear intentional. If these were purely natural, how could such regularity arise without the hand or mind of a designer? Yet if they were engineered by whom and why, in a period predating any known advanced civilization in the region, the questions extend beyond science into imagination. forcing us to confront the limits of current understanding. Even as modern technology, ground-penetrating radar, compositional analysis, and carbon dating advances, the bygone pipes resist definitive interpretation. They are simultaneously tangible and elusive, a series of hollows and channels that speak of functionality yet defy explanation. Unlike the terracotta army or the Karnak alignments, their scale is intimate, their complexity subtle, but their mystery is no less profound. They ask us to question assumptions about the boundaries between natural and artificial, past and present, known and unknown. Standing at the entrance of one of the caves, gazing into the dark hollows and metal-laced walls, one feels a sense of both wonder and unease. The pipes are silent, immovable, yet strangely communicative, a message frozen in stone, iron, and mineral, waiting for interpretation. We are drawn to speculate, to imagine civilizations or technologies lost to time, while simultaneously confronted with the possibility that nature alone may have orchestrated this intricate puzzle. And so we are left with questions that linger as persistently as the pipes themselves. Were the bygone pipes formed by human hands or by the slow, patient artistry of natural forces? If they are man-made, what civilization created them? And for what purpose? Plumbing, ritual, or something beyond our imagination? And how many other hidden enigmas lie embedded in the rocks and soils of our world, silently challenging our assumptions about history, technology, and possibility? The bygone pipes endure as a testament to mystery itself, their hollow networks bridging millennia and inviting us to ponder not only the limits of science, but the ingenuity of nature that produced forms at once familiar and unfathomable, from the remote peaks and mineral-rich caves of China, where the bygone pipes twist enigmatically through ancient rock. Our journey now moves across continents once more to the vast freshwater expanse of Lake Michigan. Beneath its churning waves, researchers have uncovered a mysterious formation that evokes echoes of ancient Europe, yet remains entirely enigmatic: the so-called Lake Michigan Stonehenge. Unlike the terrestrial alignments of Karnak or the monumental guardians of the Terracotta Army, this site lies hidden beneath hundreds of feet of water. Its stones arranged in a pattern that suggests purpose, precision, and a story long submerged. The first glimpse of the formation is astonishing. Divers and sonar scans reveal a circle of massive stones, some weighing several tons, arranged on the lake bed in what appears to be a deliberate geometric pattern. The largest stones rise vertically, forming a rough ring, while smaller stones and fragments fill the interior, hinting at pathways, markers, or focal points. The effect is simultaneously primitive and sophisticated, a combination of raw natural material and intentional design that challenges easy categorization. Mainstream investigation offers cautious context. Lake Michigan, like the other Great Lakes, has fluctuated dramatically over millennia, its water levels rising and falling with glacial melting and climate shifts. Some researchers propose that the formation may have been erected on dry land, perhaps as long as 10,000 years ago, when the region was above water, only to be submerged as glacial lakes expanded. This possibility situates the site within a time frame when humans were present in North America. Yet, its scale and precision are difficult to reconcile with known prehistoric technologies in the region. The stones themselves invite scrutiny, composed primarily of limestone and dolomite. Many appear to have been shaped or smoothed, though erosion and sediment obscure details. Their vertical alignment and circular arrangement suggest deliberate placement as opposed to random glacial deposition. Could this be evidence of early ceremonial architecture, an indigenous sacred site, or a proto-astronomical observatory? And if so, what knowledge, ritual, or intent guided the hands of its builders? Fringe interpretations naturally abound. Some enthusiasts propose that the formation represents an underwater calendar, akin to Stonehenge in England, used to track celestial cycles, solstices, or seasonal migrations. Others suggest the possibility of ritualistic or navigational functions guiding early travelers or marking sacred territory. More speculative theories envision advanced prehistoric cultures, now lost to time, capable of complex engineering beyond what mainstream archaeology attributes to North America's earliest inhabitants. Each hypothesis, while unproven, underscores the allure of the site and the profound questions it raises. The Lake Michigan Stonehenge is particularly compelling because of its submersion and preservation. Unlike terrestrial sites vulnerable to erosion, human interference, or construction, the cold freshwater environment has safeguarded the stones, leaving a tangible record hidden beneath waves. Sonar mapping reveals subtle variations in stone height and spacing, suggesting intentionality, yet underwater sediment obscures definitive interpretation. Every expedition uncovers new facets, partial stones, aligned fragments, and traces of channels that hint at the broader layout, but always with tantalizing gaps that defy conclusive explanation. The very act of discovery deepens the mystery. Divers must navigate low visibility, strong currents, and the frigid temperature of deep water, limiting the ability to analyze the formation in situ. Sonar imagery, while revealing, cannot capture every nuance of the stone surfaces, leaving questions about tool marks, shaping, or placement. How were such heavy stones moved, positioned, and maintained? If humans constructed this site, what technology, social organization, or ritual practice allowed for its creation? And if not humans, what natural forces could account for such geometric precision under the lakebed? Historical parallels amplify the intrigue. Across the globe, humans have created circular stone arrangements from Europe's Stonehenge to Africa's Knob Playa, often imbued with astronomical, ceremonial, or territorial significance. The Lake Michigan Formation appears to resonate with this tradition, suggesting that even across vast distances and independent cultures, there exists a human impulse to shape stone, space, and time in symbolic, functional, or ritualistic ways. Yet the context of prehistoric North America, particularly in this region, makes the formation an anomaly, one that challenges conventional understandings of technology, settlement patterns, and cultural practice. Standing metaphorically at the edge of the lake, imagining the stones submerged below, one is struck by the intersection of natural and human history. The formation is both ancient and immediate, tangible yet elusive, a whisper from a world lost beneath waves. It prompts reflection on the impermanence of landscapes and civilizations alike. What was once visible, deliberate, and powerful can be hidden by the slow rise of water, yet retain its mystery for millennia. And so we are left with questions that ripple as persistently as the lake itself. Was the Lake Michigan Stonehenge erected by humans? And if so, who were they?
And what knowledge did they possess?
Did it serve ceremonial, astronomical, or navigational purposes, or something entirely unknown to us? Or is it a rare and remarkable example of natural forces sculpting stone into geometric suggestion, mimicking human intent in ways that deceive the eye and imagination? The Lake Michigan Stonehenge remains submerged, silent, and enigmatic, a testament to the hidden histories of our planet. Its stones, like sentinels frozen in water and time, invite us to question, explore, and wonder, reminding us that even beneath familiar landscapes, secrets endure, waiting patiently for human curiosity to encounter them. How many other mysteries hidden beneath lakes, forests, and mountains lie in wait, silent, profound, and entirely beyond our present understanding? Here in the deep waters of the Great Lakes, the stones endure, geometric, ancient, and inexplicably human, or perhaps eerily natural, challenging us to imagine the possibilities of a past still largely unseen. From the mysterious stones submerged beneath Lake Michigan, standing silently in geometric arrangement, our journey now turns to a desert plain of a very different kind. The ancient city of Ur, nestled in what is now southern Iraq. Here, among the remnants of ziggurats, royal tombs, and artifacts of the Sumerian civilization, archaeologists uncovered one of the most intriguing and visually arresting objects of the early Bronze Age. The ram in a thicket. Small in scale, yet monumental in its artistry, this object exemplifies the intersection of craftsmanship, ritual, and enduring mystery. The first encounter with the ram in a thicket is arresting. Standing less than a foot tall, the figure depicts a ram poised upon its hind legs, seemingly reaching into or emerging from a dense, stylized clump of vegetation. The body of the animal is composed of wood, gold leaf, and lapis lazuli with intricate details capturing the texture of fleece, the curve of horns, and the alertness of posture. The thicket itself is equally elaborate, built from layers of gold and shell to evoke the natural complexity of plant life. Despite the passage of over 4,500 years, the craftsmanship conveys a striking sense of vitality and presence. A frozen tableau that seems almost alive. Discovered in the Royal Cemetery at during the 1920s by Sir Leonard Woolley, the figurine was one of many treasures buried with the elite. It is part of a larger assemblage of ceremonial and honorary objects, including ornate jewelry, musical instruments, and intricately decorated vessels. Yet, the ram in a thicket stands out not only for its artistic finesse but also for its symbolic ambiguity. What did the ram represent in Sumerian culture, and why was it buried in such a sacred context? Mainstream interpretations focus on ritual and symbolic significance. Some scholars suggest that the ram embodies fertility, abundance, or divine protection, a motif commonly associated with pastoral and agricultural societies. The act of reaching into the thicket may signify sustenance, vitality, or the intersection between natural and spiritual realms. The figure could have functioned as a votive object, airary offering, or a talisman to accompany the deceased into the afterlife. Yet, the lack of textual references linking the specific imagery to known myths leaves room for speculation, and the precise meaning remains elusive. The technical aspects of the sculpture are equally mysterious. The use of gold, lapis lazuli imported from distant regions and finely carved wood, indicates extensive trade networks and sophisticated craftsmanship. But why choose these particular materials to depict a seemingly ordinary animal in an abstracted platform? Was it purely aesthetic, or did the combination of materials carry a ritualistic or symbolic weight now lost to history? The precision and delicacy of construction suggest not only artistic mastery, but also knowledge of symbolism and perhaps even metaphysical concepts. Fringe theories have emerged alongside scholarly interpretations. Some suggest the ram represents a cosmic or celestial motif, perhaps linked to constellations, seasonal cycles, or divine being. Others imagine a shamanic or mystical function in which the figurine served as a conduit between humans and the spiritual realm. More speculative ideas even propose that it reflects ancient knowledge of animal behavior or ecological cycles encoded in ceremonial art as a repository of practical wisdom. While these notions remain unproven, they illustrate the depth of intrigue and fascination that surrounds the object. The setting of the discovery adds another layer to the mystery. The Royal Cemetery at contains elaborate tombs, many sealed for millennia, preserving objects in astonishing condition. The ram in a thicket was not an isolated artifact. It existed within a broader landscape of ritualized space alongside musical lyres, jewelry, and human burials. The arrangement of these objects, the care of their placement, and the sheer diversity of materials hint at a worldview that deeply intertwined status, spirituality, and cosmology. Yet the specifics of their meaning remain partially hidden. One of the most compelling aspects of the ram in a thicket is its dual nature, both naturalistic and symbolic. The ram is a recognizable creature, yet its posture and interaction with the thicket are stylized, almost theatrical. The thicket is at once realistic and abstract, evoking natural forms while also serving as a conceptual stage for the ram. This duality invites reflection. Was the figure intended primarily as a representation of the tangible world, a symbolic artifact or something that bridged both realms, encoding ideas, rituals, and beliefs in a single miniature tableau? As we contemplate the figure today, its diminutive scale belies its profound significance. In the hands of ancient artisans, gold and lapis lazuli were transformed into narrative, ideology, and ritual expression. The object embodies questions about trade, craftsmanship, spirituality, and the ways in which early civilizations sought to express meaning through material culture. And yet, despite decades of scholarly study, the rom in a thicket retains its capacity to intrigue, puzzle, and inspire, inviting observers to wonder about the lives, beliefs, and imaginations of people who lived thousands of years ago. We are left with questions that echo across millennia. Why this particular animal reaching into this particular plant? What belief system, ceremonial purpose, or symbolic language guided the hands of the artisans? And how much of Samrian thought, cosmic, practical, or spiritual, remains inaccessible to us, preserved only in objects like this that speak in silence? The ram in a thicket endures as both art and enigma, a testament to human creativity, ritual imagination, and enduring mystery. It reminds us that even the smallest artifacts can carry immense significance, serving as portals into worlds we can only partially reconstruct, and hinting at the layers of knowledge and meaning that may still lie hidden, waiting to be understood. From the gold and lapis of where the rom in a thicket reached towards symbolic vegetation, our journey now shifts to the arid deserts of ancient Egypt, to an artifact that may represent one of humanity's earliest attempts at calligraphy, the Turin papyrus map. Unlike statues or ceremonial objects, this is a document, a record of land resources and labor that challenges our understanding of how early civilizations perceived, represented, and organized their environment. Small, fragile, and yet astonishingly sophisticated. It offers a glimpse into a Bronze Age mind attempting to translate the three-dimensional world onto a flat, portable surface. The map itself is a narrow strip of papyrus. Appealing. Imagine a Roman villa candlelight flickering through these tiny apertures, a delicate constellation of shadows dancing across the walls. Yet the lack of uniformity in size and the disparity in hole diameters complicate this notion. If they were tools, one might expect standardization. If they were decorative, why invest so much effort in a form that is in many ways impractical for display? Then there are the more curious interpretations. Some researchers speculate that the docahedra were religious or ceremonial objects, possibly used in rituals to honor gods of fertility or to mark astrological events. The holes in this light might correspond to lunar cycles or seasonal transitions, their geometric arrangement echoing a cosmic order. Others suggest they functioned as instruments for knitting gloves, a particularly intriguing idea, given that some examples show wear consistent with repeated handling. This theory imagines Roman women or artisans holding these objects, looping yarn through the holes, producing garments with precision and care. And yet there is no definitive evidence of such use, no surviving Roman instructions, no contemporaneous illustrations. Each theory tantalizes with plausibility, yet falls short of certainty. Beyond the practical and ceremonial hypothesis, the docahedra invites speculation of a more speculative nature. Could they have been teaching tools, perhaps for demonstrating geometric principles or for astronomical observation? Some enthusiasts point out correlations between the hole sizes and distances to celestial bodies, suggesting an understanding of trigonometry that seems ahead of its time. Others propose entirely symbolic functions, talismanic objects perhaps used to attract luck or ward off misfortune. Their distribution across the Roman Empire could indicate a network of cultural or trade connections, a shared ritual or practice that has since vanished from the historical record. And yet, for all these imaginative interpretations, the reality remains frustratingly elusive. The docahedra do not speak. They yield no inscriptions, no markings, no keys to their purpose. What makes the mystery more compelling is the precision of their construction. The docahedra are often cast in bronze with uniform thickness and carefully aligned holes. The craftsmanship implies advanced techniques and skilled artisans, suggesting that these objects were valued, not trivial. The time and effort invested in producing each piece hint at significance, functional, ceremonial, or symbolic. And yet, after centuries, they have left behind only questions, teasing the modern observer with a deliberate absence of explanation. It is this tension between evidence, sophistication, and total historical silence that continues to fascinate archaeologists and enthusiasts alike. Walking through a museum display of these artifacts, one can almost sense the invisible thread connecting past and present. There is a quiet allure in their geometry, a hypnotic balance that draws the eye and engages the mind. Each face, each hole, each tiny knob invites closer inspection, provoking a sense of curiosity that borders on reverence. And yet the more one studies them, the more they resist comprehension. We are left with fragments of an ancient world, glimpses of knowledge that has slipped beyond the grasp of time. The Roman docahedra remain in many ways a meditation on absence. They are objects of evident intent, yet the context of that intent is irretrievably lost. They encourage us to ask questions, to probe the limits of historical understanding, and to embrace the mysteries that endure. Were they tools, toys, ritual objects, or symbols? Or were they something entirely different? Their purpose known only to those who once held them in their hands. As we contemplate these silent geometric forms, the mind wanders, imagining the hands that crafted them, the eyes that gazed upon them, the lives intertwined with their enigmatic existence. And in that space between certainty and speculation, the mystery persists, inviting us to wonder what secrets of the ancient world might still lie hidden, waiting to be uncovered. As we move westward from the scattered relics of ancient empires, the landscape begins to shift. Towering sandstone cliffs rise from the red deserts of the American Southwest, their sheer faces carved over millennia by wind and water. Nestled within loves and ledges almost invisible from the canyon floor are the remnants of an ancient civilization. The Anasazi cliff dwellings, these structures, precariously perched hundreds of feet above the desert sands, evoke both awe and curiosity. Sunlight spills across the weathered stone,
illuminating K's circular ceremonial chambers.
Doorways just wide enough for a person to slip through, and multi-storied apartment-like complexes that seem impossibly suspended. The air is quiet, almost reverent, broken only by the occasional whisper of wind through the canyon. One cannot help but pause, imagining the lives that once unfolded here. Families moving along narrow ledges, fires flickering in the evenings, the scent of cooking corn drifting across the cliffside. Archaeologists have traced these dwellings primarily to the ancestral Puebloans, often referred to as the Anasazi, a term meaning ancient enemies in Navajo. Flourishing between the 12th and 13th centuries, they left behind a remarkable architectural legacy. Constructed from sandstone blocks and adobe mortar, these cliffside communities could house hundreds of people. The sophistication of their design is striking. Ladders and stairways ingeniously connect rooms. Ventilation shafts and strategically placed openings regulate airflow. Storage rooms preserve food across harsh winters. Yet, for all their ingenuity, the dwellings are enigmatic in their isolation. Why build in locations so difficult to access, requiring courage and agility to reach? The very placement suggests a purpose beyond mere shelter. Perhaps defense, perhaps ritual, or something even less tangible. Mainstream scholarship offers several plausible explanations. The cliff dwellings may have provided protection from raiding groups or hostile neighbors. Archaeological evidence supports a well-organized agricultural society, one capable of sustaining large populations despite aid conditions. But even here, questions linger. How did the Anasazi transport heavy sandstone blocks to lead hundreds of feet above the canyon floor? How did they carve and assemble rooms with such precision without the use of metal tools? The answers are partially known, but the sheer scale and audacity of these constructions evoke a quiet sense of wonder. Beyond the practical explanations, the dwellings seem to suggest a deep spiritual connection to the landscape. Many archaeologists note that certain structures align with solar and lunar events, pointing to a sophisticated understanding of astronomy. Sunlight streaming into specific rooms at solstices and equinoxes may have marked seasonal cycles or religious observances. But how precise were these alignments intended to be? Were they accidental consequences of architectural design or deliberate manifestations of a cosmology we can only glimpse in fragments? The stone rooms and circular cars invite speculation, hinting at rituals, gatherings, and ceremonies whose exact nature has been lost to time. Adding to the mystery is the sudden disappearance of the Anasazi from their cliffside homes around the late 13th century. Archaeologists have pieced together evidence suggesting drought, resource depletion, and social pressures may have driven communities to relocate. Yet the scale and speed of the migration remain puzzling. Entire settlements were abandoned with minimal evidence of conflict or destruction. Personal belongings, pottery, and even sacred items were left behind, an orderly departure that hints at forethought rather than chaos. Why leave such extraordinary dwellings meticulously constructed over generations for reasons we cannot fully comprehend? And where did these people go, merging with other Puebloan groups or vanishing from the record entirely? The cliff dwellings also inspire more speculative interpretations which, while unverified, are impossible to ignore. Some suggest that the location and design reflect a lost knowledge of engineering or celestial navigation encoded in stone for future generations. Others propose that these elevated homes served as protective observatories, not only from human threats, but perhaps from something less earthly. Could these remoter loves have been chosen to align with patterns of light, sound, or even energy, now imperceptible to modern observers? While these theories venture into conjecture, they underscore the deep and enduring fascination the dwellings inspire. The sense that these ancient builders left more than walls and rooms. They left questions carefully embedded in the landscape itself. Walking along the canyon trails today, one can sense a lingering presence in the rock. The cool shade of an alcove conceals tiny handholds worn smooth by centuries of use. Petroglyphs etched into walls hint at storytelling, recording events or beliefs now indecipherable. And above the cliffs themselves seem to watch, unchanged yet intimately familiar to anyone who once called them home. It is easy to imagine the rhythm of daily life, the shifting seasons, the quiet resilience of a people in tune with both environment and cosmos. And yet the mysteries persist. Why here? Why so high? And what did the Anastasia hope to preserve in stone that the passage of centuries has failed to erase? In contemplating the cliff dwellings, one is confronted not just by architecture, but by absence. The Anasazi left behind a world frozen in stone, a testament to human ingenuity and adaptability, but one that resists full understanding. Every ledge, every doorway, every sunlit chamber seems to whisper the same question.
What truths, what
stories, what knowledge lie hidden in the spaces between walls in the canyon's shadow, waiting for us to uncover them? The mystery remains, suspended as surely as the dwellings themselves, urging us to continue exploring, imagining, and questioning. What more could these cliffs tell us if we could only listen carefully enough? From the sun-skedded deserts of the American Southwest, we turn our gaze back to the lands of the Nile, where the sands conceal stories of power, ritual, and astonishing craftsmanship. Beneath the golden rays of Egyptian tombs in the Valley of the Kings lay the treasures of a boy king whose name would echo across millennia. Tutankhamun, among the glittering hoards of gold, precious stones, and ceremonial artifacts. One object stands apart not for its size, not for its ornamentation, but for the mystery it embodies. It is a dagger. Its blade almost impossibly thin, smooth and dark, gleaming with an otherworldly luster. At first glance, it appears to be made of ordinary iron. Yet, closer inspection reveals an anomaly. The metal is not of earthly origin. This dagger, carefully sheathed in a golden scabbard, seems to defy conventional explanation. Discovered in 1925 within the innermost chambers of Tutankhamun's tomb, the dagger rests alongside other items intended to accompany the young pharaoh into the afterlife. The hilt is intricately decorated with gold, inlaid with blue glass and fine gemstones, a testament to the exquisite skill of Egyptian artisans. The craftsmanship is precise, almost impossibly so. Yet the blade itself, dark, heavy, and unyielding, presents a conundrum. Scientific analysis reveals that it is made primarily of iron, but with an unusual composition, high levels of nickel, consistent with meteoritic origin. In other words, this weapon is in part from the heavens. The presence of meteoritic iron in Tutankhamun's dagger is not entirely without precedent. Ancient cultures occasionally referenced iron from the sky, precious and rare, often reserved for kings or divine figures. But the perfection of this blade raises questions that linger even today. How did craftsmen of the 14th century BCE, working without furnaces capable of reaching the temperatures needed to melt meteoritic iron, shape, refine, and sharpen this object? Did they possess lost techniques, knowledge now vanished, or was the process slower, painstaking, and somehow beyond our full comprehension? Even in modern laboratories, replicating the metallurgy of this dagger with its subtle crystalline patterns would be a challenge. The dagger has inspired a range of interpretations, both scientific and speculative. Some scholars suggest that the blade was symbolic, a gift from the cosmos itself, a tangible connection between the pharaoh and the heavens. The Egyptians revered celestial phenomena, often equating meteors and comets with divine messages. Could this dagger have been intended not only as a weapon, but as a symbol of cosmic authority, a bridge between earth and sky? Others posit a more practical perspective. Perhaps meteoritic iron, rare and exceedingly hard, simply offered the best material available for ceremonial or combat purposes, valued above gold or bronze for its durability and otherworldly provenance. And yet the dagger continues to fascinate because it seems to straddle two worlds, the familiar and the inexplicable. While its presence in Tutankhamun's tomb fits neatly into our understanding of royal burial practices, the origin of the metal elevates it into something uncanny. Was this pharaoh intentionally buried with a weapon forged from a meteorite to convey a celestial connection? Did the Egyptians know the precise source of the iron? Or was its unusual nature more a matter of luck and intuition, recognized and revered without full understanding? The questions linger, suspended across millennia. Adding to the intrigue is the perfection of its blade. Microscopic analysis shows patterns known as Widmanetin structures, typically formed over millions of years as meteoritic metal slowly cools in the vacuum of space. The patterns are visible to the naked eye as faint intersecting lines, a signature of a cosmic origin. Yet in Tutankhamun's dagger, they have been preserved and refined, sharpened into a weapon both ceremonial and functional. Could this level of precision have been achieved purely by hand? Did the Egyptians possess knowledge of thermal techniques lost to history? Or is it possible the blade arrived in a nearly finished form shaped by processes we cannot replicate today? Speculation stretches further. Some theorists suggest that such artifacts hint at advanced understanding or contact with sources of knowledge that remain obscure. Could ancient metallurgists have experimented with iron from unusual sources, observing celestial events and meteorites with a level of sophistication that seems ahead of their time? Was this dagger a solitary marvel?
Or were there other now lost objects of similar origin connecting rulers to the cosmos in ways that we are only beginning to glimpse?
Examining the dagger today, encased behind protective glass in the Egyptian Museum in Cairo, One is struck by its quiet majesty. It is a slender, lethal object, yet it exudes a sense of wonder far beyond its function as a weapon. It embodies a paradox, both earthly and celestial, human-made and seemingly otherworldly, tangible yet almost impossible to fully understand. It invites reflection not just on the skill of ancient artisans, but on the relationship between humans and the cosmos, and on the mysteries that remain hidden in the artifacts left behind. We are left with a dagger that challenges assumptions.
How did such a blade arrive in the hands of a teenage pharaoh?
Why was it buried alongside him among treasures meant to accompany him to the afterlife? And what might it tell us about the intersection of technology, symbolism, and celestial observation in the ancient world? The answers remain elusive, locked within the metal itself, whispering across the centuries. The King Tut dagger is more than a tool, more than a relic. It is a reminder that even in one of history's most thoroughly studied civilizations, mysteries endure.
Enigmas that beckon us to question, to wonder, and to explore what remains just beyond the reach of our understanding.